extend our reaction to the latest unemployment numbers, focusing on labour union responses. Mine Workers Union AMCU's Organisational Development HOD Krister van Rensburg speaks to us in studio. Thank you so much for your time, Krister. Your initial reaction as AMCU. We know that the mining industry is not particularly rosy when it comes to absorbing jobs.
Thank you, Tumisang. Yes, indeed. And as you know, we've seen recent retrenchments, quite large-scale ones, that have really hurt the sector specifically. Also, the country, as you know, has been suffering from structural unemployment for a long time. And the reason why we say structural is because it's by design. It's an old design, and this design is for us to extract as many as possible raw materials and export it out of our country.
You speak of this reform that is required. It should be just as structured as the challenges that we currently face as a South African economy. What would be the ideal situation to at least get the likes of the mining and manufacturing sector to their former glory?
Yes, well, mining is one. Manufacturing is a very important one. As you know, manufacturing statistics have only gone down since 1994. In fact, since the late 70s, it's gone down significantly. And the reason is, once again, that the incentive is on our economy to export raw materials. So the profit is limited to those people who have the necessary capital to extract those resources, whereas it could be shared. And the reason and the way it could be shared is through beneficiation and industrialization, meaning we need more factories, more refineries, more places that can actually add value to the resources that we have, the many resources we have.
It becomes even more important, Krister, that the US 30% tariffs have come into effect for South Africa to look inward, particularly around beneficiation. How should the government of national unity be tackling that element of growing South Africa's economy?
Tumisang, you actually hit the nail on there. It's all about trade. In terms of trade, we've often said as AMCU, we've made it our standard policy that we believe there should be statutory regulation that limits exports of raw materials to 60%. We're being very reasonable. We say, let's agree that 60% of our raw materials can be exported. But then, through limitation and regulation and enforcement, we must ensure that 40%, even if it's through incentives, are beneficiated inside our country.
Going back to attracting jobs and maybe having a landscape that actually is absorbing of jobs, but also young people. There's criticism that is often leveled against unions, labor unions in this country, especially in the mining sector. How would you as AMCU respond to entities that are saying we are simply unable to hire a certain cohort because we are scared of the industrial action and the labor representation that comes with some of the disputes that we've seen in the workspace?
Tumisang, I wouldn't say that is fair. I mean, those are industrial relations. The issue in our country is policy reform. We need to look at ways to employ the vast number of talented youth we have in our country. The problem is our academic system is designed in a very lopsided way. It only focuses on academic skills. It doesn't focus on vocational skills. Even pre-1994, there was a bigger focus on vocational skills. Our country needs vocational skills. The world needs vocational skills. And those are the types of skills that we need to improve in our country. The problem we have is many of our youth, through propaganda, through the news media, is made to think that the only good job is one where you wear a tie or you drive in a fancy car. Whereas we all know that a lot of secure employment is through working with your hands. Yeah. And the economy actually needs that.
A very important element as we wrap up there, because you raise a matter that I wanted to pick your brain about. Having the young South African cohort get into the likes of the mining industry is definitely going to need exactly that. But is there room, particularly for the private sector within the mining industry, to get and attract young South Africans to go into this industry and basically turn it on its head, indicating that it really isn't just about, going to get a bachelor's degree or, wearing a tie every day or that fancy German piece of metal that you have outside.
Yes, yes, indeed. No, I think that's definitely possible. It's through diversification and also, as I said earlier, beneficiation, meaning that the downstream industries from the mining industry needs to be propped up and developed further so that it can cater for the vast range of skills that you can get from universities, universities of technology and other places of higher learning.
Thank you so much for your input as we react to the latest unemployment numbers from Stats SA. That's Krister van Rensburg from Mining Union AMCU.